Hey, this is Buck Bagwell. Guess what? I'm in your head, and you're also listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Listen to it, or Buck is going to show you all his stuff.
All right, we are back here at In Your Head Wrestling Radio. Fillet of fish. It's coming up, Intro.
Oh, yes.
This Sunday. This Sunday is the 9-year anniversary of all this bullshit. 9 years when a young man named Jacking Off met up with another young man named 1-Inch Biceps.
And I still don't think I've told my parents that I started a show with a man named Jacking Off.
They're like, what are you doing, Sonny? Like, who's that guy on the phone? And you just looked at him and said, he's jacking off! And you shut the door.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd be kind of concerned after that.
But it's
like,
been
what's the matter with young Incher here? He doesn't have any girlfriends, and he's talking to men who's jacking off on the phone.
He's happy.
Well, not that there's anything wrong with that, but
no. There's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong, and there's never a bad time.
No.
Little jacking off is what I say. So 9 years ago, this Sunday, it all started. The two of us, we started this show, and we interviewed another young man from Brittontown, Barbie Richards.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually invited himself to host the show.
Well, we weren't under that impression at the time. I think he told you that I asked him to come back on, and then he told me that you asked him to come back on.
Yeah, but it is funny. But anyway, it all worked out.
It's just madness how this show began, because I started it under the impression that you're a totally different person.
Yes.
And Barb just muscled his way in.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll go over shortly here on the show our 9 years together, the 9-year history of the show. But I actually think we have the guest on the show right now. Is this the Man Kru?
What's going on?
Hello. Let everybody know here. We just started the show a little late, but we have the guest here with us. Normally we go to break, but we're just going to keep going live. We have Man Kru with us here on In Your Head, the 9-year anniversary edition of In Your Head. By the way, everybody, I'm the internet icon, Jackie Jones, and he's my right-hand man.
1-Inch Biceps, the power goat. Bah. How about that?
Wasn't too bad.
Nah.
What do you think about that moniker, Man Kru, the power goat?
The power goat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it way before Daniel Bryan or anybody. So.
Oh, for Daniel Bryan?
No, I mean, he had it before that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I think it suits him.
Well, thank you.
I think it's a good one. So, Man Kru, he's been a member of the In Your Head message Facebook page for a while, and I've watched his videos. I always enjoy his promos. And then Mike Bessler recently brought one up, which we'll talk about. But people see some of those videos and laugh and stuff. But you've been doing very well in Japan.
Yeah.
Not just, a bunch of crazy promo videos.
Well, I just do those for fun usually. And sometimes I like to entertain people. So sometimes I shoot my promos and, before I would do them out of boredom just to practice in case I had something to promote. Then I would get the edge on the rust off or whatever if I need to cut a promo. So I would just for my friends or whatever, I would just make one and just act stupid on it and try to make people laugh just for practice.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, honestly, I think that helped to get your name out there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sometimes in a bad way, though. That particular video was, I think I had almost 3,000 views on it or something because it was people on You Are Not Getting Booked posted it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, a bunch of people were, like, you know, talking smack about me or whatever, but I don't care. It's no big deal.
So, how long have you been wrestling?
14 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how did you get started?
I went to a lot of independent shows in Alabama, and I met Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express.
Nice.
And some of his trainees, they helped me out. They taught me how to hit the ropes and bump, and then I just kind of took what little bit they taught me and started working little outlaw shows here and there just to get experience. I lied about my age, told everybody I was 18, but I was only 17. And I was doing that for quite a while, and then I moved up to Ohio where I was born, and I started working for this promotion called War, and I worked for them for a year, and then I started making music around that time, around 2003, 2004, and they were pushing me and everything because I was selling tickets, but toward the end there, they were just kind of trying to bury me, so I stopped working for them, and I ended up moving back down to Alabama, worked some more outlaw shows, and finally, my friend, his name's Reese Cloud, he's a referee, he booked a show, he booked Buff Bagwell on a show, and Mike Jackson, he's like an old school jobber from back in Georgia, right?
Big fan of action Mike Jackson.
Yeah, he's like one of the biggest promoters in the Southeast. Anyways,
go on.
I worked this match in 2007 with the Inhuman Fly from Global Championship Wrestling. And Buff Bagwell was watching it. He was sitting at his gimmick table trying to sell DVDs and pictures, and he watched it, and he was so impressed by it that he went and told Mike Jackson about it. He was like, hey, man, you need to, have you ever seen this guy work? You should book him. He's really good. Mike Jackson looked at me. He's like, I don't know, man. He doesn't look like a wrestler. He looks like a basketball player. He's got shorts and a jersey on and kick pads. He doesn't look like a wrestler. He said, but Buff was adamant about it. He was like, no, man, you don't understand. Have you even seen this guy work? He said, well, no, not really. They said, you need to see this guy work. Then you need to book him. He's really good. And he pulled me aside after he talked to Mike. He's like, look, I watched your match. I was wondering, why are you in the first match? You should be in the main event with me. And ironically, Buff Bagwell and I headlined one of Mike Jackson's shows like a year later.
That's very cool.
So, yeah, I know it's probably not that big a deal to people, but, it's pretty...
Yeah. I mean, Bagwell, I mean, that's... if you're watching wrestling in the 90s, I mean, he was on TV all the time. He's one of the, the most memorable guys. He was always, pushed. So, and for someone, just who has, made it to the big times, to notice you out of all the people and want to work with you in the main event, I think that's something to be proud of.
Mm-hmm. It's good to hear a good Buff Bagwell story every now and then. I think the guy has a bad rap, and I don't think it's really deserved. He seems like a pretty good dude to me.
Yeah, he was always good to us when we had him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty good to me, and when we worked with each other, he did a lot of extra stuff that he doesn't normally do in the ring for other guys.
Mm-hmm.
He and I actually had a really good match, and it's actually on YouTube if people look it up. But he took a bunch of bumps for me, and he was very receptive to my ideas, for our match. So he didn't have to be like that at all, but he was.
Mm-hmm. And
then when...
Go on.
Then whenever after that match, Mike Jackson watched that match, he's like, man, that was such a good match. I'm going to book you with Hardcore Holly, because Hardcore Holly had just got fired or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked Hardcore Holly in like one of his first matches since being fired from WWE. And Hardcore Holly, he didn't like working with me. He said I need a lot of work.
Well, he's always in a good mood.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much told me I sucked. So.
But look who it's coming from.
Is he basically what you would expect from what you see on TV and what you saw on Tough Enough?
Well, no, he was not. I mean, he was nice. He talked to me and some stories and stuff, but they kind of rid me or whatever. Like beforehand, like he wouldn't talk to me before the match, and I walked up to him and he snubbed me and pulled out his BlackBerry and walked away and was texting somebody, and I was trying to talk to him about the match, and finally he talked it out with me just for a little bit beforehand, but like part of the rib was, they were telling me Hardcore Holly was going to kick my ass for real to take out his frustrations from getting fired and all the kind of bullshit that he's had in his real life or whatever. So I was really nervous. I was like, really?
I'd believe it.
They had me going for a minute there, but it really wasn't like that.
Yeah. Well, was he stiff in the ring, or was he easy to...
Yeah, he works tight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the time, I didn't understand why. But now I know, after working in Japan, like, I'm just going to be real. A lot of guys, 99% of the guys on the independents today, they're pussies. They make it look too fake, and that's why people don't buy tickets anymore. They're too funny. They joke around too much, and they don't take it seriously. So when I went to Japan, I learned how to work and make it look tight and make it look stiff and make it look like we're beating the shit out of each other for real, which we kind of are, just, hitting in safe places.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you end up, getting to work in Japan?
Well, it was a lifelong goal for me. I used to watch FMW tapes and Big Japan tapes when I was a teenager, and it was a lifelong goal for me to wrestle. And then when I started watching those tapes, I wanted to wrestle in Japan. So pretty much all the independent shows I did up until 2 years ago, I was preparing for that next step. And I lobbied on Facebook for some kind of management, and a guy decided to help me because he saw money in me. So he helped me get booked, and I've actually made history over in Japan as like the first foreigner to work for like almost 20 different promotions in Japan.
That's pretty wild. Now, I've seen some of your videos up on your Facebook page and YouTube page, and even where out drinking with the Great Kabuki, and what was it like for you to, you said it was your lifelong goal to work for Japan, and then you get over there and you're working with name guys and you're meeting, big names from the past, and did it live up to your dreams? Did you, what was it?
Yeah, it was way better than I ever expected, actually. I mean, I didn't realize that the wrestling fans were so respectful of wrestlers, of workers. They really are. I mean, they treat people like, kind of like we treat actors,
Mm-hmm.
Like they hold them in a really high regard because, they understand that the business is a work, but they appreciate that what we do. Just like we understand acting is not real, but we appreciate what they do because they entertain us. It's the same concept.
Mm-hmm. Would you say for the most part that is not how the wrestling fans or on the independent scene or any scene, I guess, treat the wrestlers in the United States?
Well, I mean, you got your inbred mongoloids that think it's real, and then you got people that, not to be mean or anything, but it's just kind of how it is. You got people who are so simple that they think everything's real, or you got the other end, everybody knows it's bullshit, and they just go there to make fun of it.
Yeah.
So like two different extremes. You have the diehard fans that appreciate it for what it is, like the Japanese fans. They do exist. But there's so many real wrestling fans today that they don't really support independent wrestling anymore because of how hokey it's become.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the only people that show up are the ones that think it's real, or the ones that just want to go there and make fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, so but I think there's, you know, still some diehard fans that go see independent wrestling and support it, but for the most part, if you ask me, it doesn't really draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it used to.
No, there's not a lot here where I am, but when there is, I go and see it. But yeah, there's usually not the big crowds. No, what is it? Is it hard to perform in front of a crowd like that you could tell are just there to want to make fun of the show? No, because you know, I live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and there's a show here called AZW, and those fans they love wrestling, but they also make fun of it. Mm-hmm. And you know, when I get in the ring, you know, I realize I'm just a spectacle, so I make fun of myself when I'm in the ring. Like I'll oversell. I'll be like, "Oh, God hates me," or something like. Yeah. So you got up the way you work, depending on who you work.
Yeah.
For.
Yeah, I just change it up. I just make fun of wrestling. It like the act of what I'm doing. I'm making fun of it as I'm doing it, and it gets a rise out. It entertains them more than if I'm, you know, trying to put on a serious performance.
Yeah.
Because they understand that it's all bullshit, so I might as well just have fun while I'm doing it. If they're going to be like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let them keep me from enjoying what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So because when I'm doing what I'm doing, then they enjoy what I'm doing, and then they're genuinely entertained by it. So I just kind of switch it up.
Do you never have that urge where you just want to slap on a headlock and just leave it there forever, just to, you know, not let the fans dictate your match?
No, I don't do anything like that.
I beat Intraman. He lives in West Virginia, so he's used to the first type of fans you mentioned.
Yeah, the inbred Mongol boys. I think that's where I fit in.
I was going to say that's Intra, but I was trying to be nice to you.
I was just trying to be funny by saying inbred Mongoloids. I apologize to the true.
Oh, don't make no doubt about it. There are inbred people in West Virginia. I have met some of them. I love West Virginia, but they exist.
Mm-hmm. No, well, if you're in front of that kind of crowd, is that a fun crowd to work in front of? No matter what you think of the people.
Oh yeah, they're actually the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because they believe wholeheartedly everything that's going on, every movement, every motion that you do. They buy it 100%. It's like they're like that kid that doesn't want to believe that Santa Claus isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even though all the other kids are like, my mom and dad told me Santa Claus wasn't real, they don't want to believe that. So they believe wholeheartedly in the spirit of Christmas, if you will, when it comes to wrestling. And so they get into it really. I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot in the ring when you have that kind of crowd. It's easy, and they're easy to manipulate. They're easy to entertain. If I'm working heel, it's easy to get them to hate me. All I got to do is rake the guy's eyes and tell the referee I'm going to smack him, and they eat it up. But, you know, in Japan, I got to say, I'll gouge your fucking eyeball out, referee, in order to get the same kind of reaction, because the Japanese fans, they've seen so much. They've seen so many guys come and go, so many foreigners come and go, that I have to really step my game up when I go over there.
Yeah.
I cuss a lot. I blow snot rockets on my opponent. I grab the referee and smack him around. Like, I do all kind of weird shit that most guys don't do because it's something that's memorable that they're going to remember.
Yeah.
And that's why they want me to come back.
Which crowd would you say you prefer, the U.S. crowd or the Japanese?
Easily the Japanese crowd. Easily, because I get to say and do what I want. I have complete creative control over what I want to do. I can say what I want. I can say I'm going to bang your mom on TV or whatever, I can say, "Get up, you little cocksucker," to my opponent, and they'll play it on TV, and they love it. Like, seriously, I'm not exaggerating at all. I've said like the worst shit you could ever think of on TV.
Well, you know, I never knew what Inoki was saying in the ring. He could have been saying the same thing.
Probably. I know the Great Kabuki told me he used to cuss all the time in Japanese on TV.
That's pretty awesome. You know, you're hanging out with the Great Kabuki, and what is he like, the Great Kabuki?
Oh, he's really humble. He's a really cool, down to earth guy. I mean, he's like 60, probably 64 or 65 now, but he's still got that fire inside, like when he was young. Mm-hmm. But he's physically limited. He can't do it, but he wants to so bad. So every little chance he gets to get in the ring, he does. Mm-hmm. I worked with him twice.
Did you see his match on TNA this week on the pay-per-view?
That was a great Muda.
Oh,
that was a great Muda intro.
Whoops.
Yeah. That was a great storyline.
Well, when Muda did come in originally, though, they did book him as bill him as Great Kabuki's son. So.
Yeah, he's a storyline son even in Japan.
Yeah,
but everybody knows.
That's what I was thinking of.
Everybody in Japan knows it's not his real son, but you know, it's one of the things where.
Except the inbred Japanese fans.
No, Edge and Christian aren't really brothers, but they still accept it as a storyline. They know Kane and Undertaker aren't really brothers. They still accept it as the storyline. It's the same thing in Japan with the Great Kabuki and the Great Muda.
So, you know, when you're in the ring with Great Kabuki, and you said, you know, obviously he's older and he's had a lot of, any wrestler's been around that long is going to have injuries, and just being that age, he's, you know, not be able to do what he used to be able to do. How do you put that match together?
Oh, well, he and I didn't work a single match. He was like the manager, and he came in and we did a spot.
Oh, okay.
Like, he came in to interfere, and I choked him. I lifted him up. I grabbed him by the throat and lifted him up, and he sprayed the mist in my face, and then punched me and kicked me, shit like that. And I wasn't really a match. Like, he's doing the thing now where he has another son, the Kabuki, or they just call him just Buki now. But he has another storyline son, and he's been managing him. And so I work with him a lot. And that's, you know, helps me have opportunities to work with the Great Kabuki. I worked with the Great Sasuke in a light tubes death match.
Nice.
I don't know if people know who he is, but I've known who he was since I was a teenager. He's one of my favorite Japanese wrestlers. And I tagged with Jun Kasai versus him and another Michinoku Pro guy in a light tubes death match. And to me, that was like the peak, holy shit, I can't believe I'm doing this moment for me.
Yeah. Now, you know, you talked about, you know, watching all those, the deathmatch tapes and stuff as a teenager. So when you're actually, getting to do them, that's got to be something, pretty special for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a barbed wire board death match. I did like 4 barbed wire baseball bat death matches. I did a fluorescent light tube death match, a few hardcore matches. They got me coming back this year for the death match tournament this year, but I don't know if I'm going to do it unless they give me the kind of money I want.
How is the money in Japan for a foreigner?
Oh my God, it's so much better than in the United States. Put it to you this way: the least I ever got was $100. That's the bare minimum.
Ouch! And that was in the States.
In the States, the least I ever got was $5 or nothing.
Ouch!
But the most I ever made was $500.
Oh, that's right.
So, I mean,
what do you think it is about you that you know, that you get to keep coming back to Japan?
Well, I remind them of all their favorite. I'm like a throwback to them. I remind them of all their favorite old wrestlers like Terry Funk and Bam Bigelow and Abdullah the Butcher and Big Van Vader. I remind them of all those guys. Because of, you know, I've incorporated all that into what I do. I borrow a little bit from all those guys, and I use it in my performance. And they go ape shit. They love it. So when I first went there, they called me Bigelow all the time because I remind them of Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
But after that tour was over, they stopped saying Bigelow and started calling me by my name. Now nobody says Bigelow anymore. They just say One Man.
Mm-hmm. So, when they were chanting that, did anyone tell you, oh, maybe you should tattoo your head?
Yeah,
You'll play up Bam Bam.
They put that in my ear. When they want me to tattoo something on my head, I was like, I don't know about that. That's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like 12 tattoos or whatever. I mean, I have 14 tattoos, but I'm not gonna. I don't know about putting some shit on my head. I mean, Jesus.
Get something right on your face.
What if I have to get a real job someday? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that doesn't help out when you got like the teardrop on your eye and whatnot.
I know. I know One Man Gang is that when he became like a prison guard or something, and they wouldn't let him have the mohawk because it showed the tattoos on the side of his head.
Yeah, I had tattoos all over my neck, all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen those.
I have 6 tattoos on my neck. So that was just a thing I did out of rebelliousness as a middle finger to society, to all the mindless consumer drones out there that don't give a shit about what's going on in the world.
Who were, besides the Japanese guys, who were some of the guys that you watched as a kid that made you want to become a wrestler?
Gold Dust, Bam Bigelow, Sid Vicious, Jerry Lawler, Terry Funk, Mick Foley, Steve Austin, Scott Hall. Yeah, most of the heel guys, I was a heel mark when I was a kid. There's just something about being rebellious that I liked,
Mm-hmm.
My dad was an asshole, and I wanted to rebel against him, so in the house, he was like Vince McMahon, and I was like Stone Cold.
Uh-huh.
I'm just kidding, but not really.
Yeah, I don't know. Vince McMahon fan. Back in those days, everybody was about the Stone Cold.
No, he said like his dad was like Vince McMahon in the house, and he'd be Stone Cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He'd be like his dad, basically, is what he said.
He was the authority, and I was the rebel.
Mm-hmm.
He was the douchebag, and I was the bigger douchebag.
The good guy douchebag.
The good guy douchebag. Yeah.
Now, I know you've been you do the moonsault in Japan. Is that directly because of Bam Bam, or is it just something you started doing?
Well, I've been doing that ever since I started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was doing them. I used to weigh 215 pounds at one point. I would do moonsaults, like, when I was, like, 17, 18 years old, and got to the point where I was, like, over 320 pounds, and I never hit the moonsault anymore. I just made everybody move out of the way. For years, it was like that. Like, probably a span of 10 years, I made everybody move out of the way for the moonsault. But when I went to Japan, my first match there, they said, we want you to hit the moonsault. And I was like, are you serious? Do you see how much I weigh compared to this guy? Mm-hmm. I said, okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it. And I did it, and the place went ape shit, and they made me do it every match ever since. So I finally put my foot down and said, okay, I made a name for myself. I don't need to do this shit anymore unless it's absolutely necessary, like it's a big show or something,
Do you think, saving it like that for a special match or a big show, that makes it more special?
Absolutely. Like, I did a 3-way dance here in Hawaii, and, like, the finish was I chokeslammed the Great Kabuki's son and then splashed him for the 3 count. And I kicked Fugo Yumeji in the gut and powerbombed him and moonsaulted him for the 3 count, and the place went ape shit. I mean, that ate me here in Hawaii, pretty much.
Are you originally from Hawaii, or did you go there because you were wrestling a lot in Japan and it's a little closer?
Yeah, I'm not originally from here. I was born in Ohio, and I lived in Alabama most of my life. And then my sponsor in Japan moved me out here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, chilling here till I go back to Japan later this summer. I live in a $300,000 condo with my little Asian princess, and I make about $30,000 a year off gimmick sales, and I do a little booking here or there here in Hawaii just until I go back to Japan. So I'm not really worried about $25 a hot dog and a Coke at Hillbillyville, USA, if you know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh. No, when you say a sponsor, for America fans who don't know what that means, well, what does that mean?
Well, a sponsor in Japan is like a really good wrestling fan, like a hardcore, diehard wrestling fan that has a lot of money, and he wants to support you because he knows, wrestlers have a hard life, so he or she wants to make your life better by, flying you places, giving you money, flying you into other countries so you can work, putting you up in hotels, and helping you get work if you need it. Like it's a support system in Japan. If you're established there and you have a sponsor, which I have 2 sponsors. If you have sponsors, then you're going to be okay. But if you don't, then you might as well forget it.
Well, what does a sponsor get out of the deal? It's just they're just a big wrestling fan and want to see someone do well.
Just the enjoyment of rubbing elbows with you and hanging out with you and see you happy, see you enjoying yourself, enjoying your life, knowing that they help perpetuate everything that you do professionally. And it gives them joy to see that they can help you better yourself. Mm-hmm. Professionally and personally.
No, it's not like the Yakuza or anything.
What he tell you?
I'm not gonna say that they don't have their hand in wrestling, which they do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
There's a different outlook on that in Japan, isn't there? It's not like it's just accepted.
Well, no. I mean, everybody's scared shitless of those guys, and they should be. Personally, I'm not, because I'm a foreigner, and they treat me like a friend. If I go over there, if I meet any of those guys or run into any of those guys, they always treat foreigners respectfully, and as long as you don't disrespect them, everything is all good. But you go over there, somebody like Brock Lesnar, or somebody goes over there and doesn't want to drink with them, doesn't want to shake their hand or something like that, then they don't ever book them again.
Mm-hmm. Is that what happened with Brock in Japan?
Well, Antonio Inoki, from the story I heard, Antonio Inoki, he likes to slap all the guys that come in,
right?
Just to say he made contact with them, work because he can't work anymore,
Yeah, isn't it like something about pass on the spirit or something too? I believe.
I don't know. Anyways, he likes to do that just as a show of, you show respect to him by letting him slap you. That's pretty much what it is, right?
I need
He's
to
not going to smack the shit out of you. He's not going to smack the living shit out of you. He's just going to But Brock Lesnar wouldn't let him do it. And then the guys wanted to drink with him afterwards, and he didn't want to drink with him, so they never booked him again.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would think, wouldn't you think that someone would just, because obviously Inoki's like a god there, you would just, just basically let him, give you a slap if he wants to slap you. Plus, I would think that would be an honor to say I was slapped by Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let all them guys slap me. In the ring, I don't care, In the ring, out of the ring. I mean, hell, I let Butterbean slap me once. Backstage before a show, me and him did a charity match one time, and he was like, I want you to smack me as hard as you can. I was like, what? Yeah. He said, show me how hard you'll smack me. So I smacked him and just made a little noise, He's like, if you smack me that hard, you're going to piss me off. I said, what do you mean? He said, You smack me as hard as you can. I was like, I don't know, man. He said, look, I'm going to tell you a story. I was backstage at Monday Night Raw, and they told Kane to smack the shit out of Undertaker. Kane said he didn't want to do it. So Undertaker walked up to Kane and smacked the shit out of Kane and said, now you owe me one. So I'm going to smack you. I said, okay. You smack me then. That's okay. Just show me how hard you want me to smack you, and it's all good. He said, okay. Wow! Tweet, 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 tweet. I was about to fall down on the ground like he hit me that hard, like I was almost knocked out from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, motherfucker. So when we went to the ring, I smacked the shit out of him, but it just so happened that it was simultaneously when the bell rang.
Mm.
Nobody heard how hard I smacked him.
Ah. So that's...
Yeah, so, and it was at this convention, like this metal band was playing during our match. It was like really pissing me off, so we cut the match really short. Anyways, yeah, I mean, people smack each other. It's the nature of the business. I mean, if you're a pussy and you don't want to get smacked, don't get in the fucking wrestling business. I let a guy smack me the last match I worked. I was like, hey, smack me as hard as you can. And as part of the finish, like, me and there was like, you know, this, like, my tag team partner and I didn't like each other, so like I kept trying to make the hot tag, and he kept jumping off the ring apron, and finally he had his back turned, and I made the hot tag to his shoulder, and then he gets in the ring and smacks the shit out of me, and then I elbowed him, and then the other tag team put their finish on him and pinned him, and I was like giving him the finger or whatever, but it's just the nature of the business. If you don't want to get slapped, don't get in wrestling.
Well, how's the food over in Japan for you?
Well, I ate a lot of McDonald's, so that should answer your question.
You're not a fan of the sushi?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I ate a lot of the Japanese food. It was pretty good, actually. I mean, they have different tastes than we do, but they like interesting things, I'll tell you that much. Mm-hmm. I've never seen people just eat fish eggs, like, and be like, oishi, which means delicious. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe how bad this dude's breath is from this shit. He thinks this is delicious. I mean, no, but they eat a lot of good stuff. Like, I like eel, unagi or whatever eel. It's pretty tasty. I ate some really expensive eel over there one time. It was like $100 a plate, and it was so delicious. That's my favorite food is unagi, the eel, and okonomiyaki, which is like this thing they make with eggs and cabbage and other vegetables and stuff. It's pretty good food over there.
Now, you know, being a big guy in Japan, is that hard too? Just the travel and the sleeping conditions.
Yeah, especially because everything's so goddamn little over there. I mean, the buses. When I was riding the bus, I couldn't sleep because the bus was like they made it for a little kid or some shit. The seat, like, they have this thing there, like, the most established star, he gets the biggest seat or whatever, so, like, you know, they had, like, one of the legend guys get the big back seat or whatever, and then I'm stuck with this little shit fucking baby high chair looking thing, and I couldn't sleep. I actually laid down on the floor of the bus to get some sleep one night. They had to, like, wake me up, like, so they could get off the bus to take a piss.
Doing the hardcore matches with you know, all the different weapon stuff. Have you had a lot of serious injuries, or have you been pretty lucky?
I had a back injury in Nagoya, Japan, and I had to keep working like 15 or 20 more dates after that, but for like over the course of 2 months. And it was a nightmare, man. I mean, imagine that you want to do something so bad, and then when you do it, then something like throws a wrench in the whole mix, and your wildest dream becomes your worst nightmare. that's what it was like for me. Because I was afraid I was going to be paralyzed if I took a bad bump or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on painkillers and steroids and all that shit to keep going.
Mm-hmm. What kind of injury? You said it's a back injury, but what? Do you know what it was specifically?
To this day, they still don't know what it was because I never got it looked at.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it looked at like several months later, like 6 months later. I finally got it looked at, and they were like, "Well, whatever it was, it's healed up now because we don't see anything on the MRI." And I was like, "Well, it doesn't feel like it's healed up."
Yeah, a lot of the back things are hard to figure out exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. One doctor was like, I think you might have bruised some nerve or something because like one of my legs was like twitching and shit sometimes when I lay down and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all right now.
That's...
I got a doctor here in Hawaii that gives me 112 oxycodone 10s a month. So I stay pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't have any right now. I ran out, but I'll go back next Tuesday.
That's big in the WV too, I believe.
Hillbilly heroin.
Hillbilly heroin?
I know all about it. Not me personally, but I've heard about it. But even like the airport that you flew into that one time, Jack, I saw like a documentary saying that's like one of the biggest like points that it comes in at to the States. But
I get
you know, I was just wondering, it's like going into like a death match, it's like, what's your mentality going into that? Do you got to go to like a different kind of place? Like, do you have to psych yourself up to get into a match like that?
I tell you, man, I've never been so nervous in my life.
Mm.
Like, I'm saying, like anxiety, like, have you ever been in a car accident?
Yeah.
You know the feeling right before impact?
Mm-hmm.
That holy shit feeling right before impact, that anxiety.
Yeah.
And then right after impact, you're like, oh my God, that's how it felt the whole day before the match, even in the ring.
That would
and I set myself up for some crazy spots too, like in that barbed wire board death match I did with Takashi Sasaki. I let him slam me off the top rope to the barbed wire board. And when I was on the top rope, I was looking down, and I was like, gee, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But I'm like, oh, too late.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you if you're not shitting your pants before that match.
Exactly, I mean, you got to be a special kind of retarded to do death matches.
Have you met anybody like that who just acts like it's no big deal to them anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these guys, they act like it's no big deal. They got, their whole body looks like some Freddy Krueger shit. And it's like, oh my God, are you seriously doing this shit all the time? Like, it's nothing? Like, this is your life, your lifestyle? You do this, like, all the time? Like the craziest guy I know, his name's Jun Kasai. You know, he gets nervous during regular matches with no deathmatch shit. But when he's doing deathmatch, like, super comfortable beforehand.
It's just the norm for him, I guess.
Yeah. So, like, he works like a 6-man tag match. He's like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, what? You? The guy that jumps off balconies and goes through glass panes and gets cut up on gusset plates and lets people carve it into your skin with a box cutter? You're scared of a 6-man tag match? That's just unbelievable.
What would be the worst weapon or spot you've taken or used in a match?
The light tube is very unpredictable because accidents can happen with those. Like, it's really, really dangerous. Anything involving glass is really dangerous. Like the barbed wire, it looks bad and it hurts. I mean, it really hurts really bad, but as far as the risk associated with it for something really terrible happening, it's very low risk. But anything involving glass is very dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing they use in any death match. And fire. Fire and glass.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say fire and glass are like the two most dangerous things in deathmatch.
Is there like a way that you need to hit somebody with like a light bulb? I'd kind of think like the faster the better would, to really just make sure it shatters.
You're right.
Really?
You got to hit as hard as you can to bust it as hard as you can to make sure it breaks into a million pieces. You're right. You're exactly right.
Mm.
I know my brother works at elementary school, and with those fluorescent light tubes, they have to throw them in a special trash because they say like the dust in them is poison.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So,
that's true. I breathed some of that shit in, and I was coughing for a month.
Damn.
Yeah. Mhm. I didn't feel right for a long time after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that's true. I felt like I was dying or something. Like after I worked that death match with the fluorescent light tubes, I thought that like I was dying of cancer or some shit. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I didn't feel right after quite a long time after that.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you worked with any of like the deathmatch guys in the States, like I don't know, Man Pondo or Necro Butcher or Ian Rotten or anybody?
No. The only guy I ever worked with, like in hardcore, is like Sabu and Hardcore Holly, and they're not really deathmatch guys. I mean, Sabu was when he went to Japan. He worked a lot of barbed wire matches, but as far as the independent guys that are well known for it, no, I never worked with any of those guys. Smoked a lot of weed with them though, but I mean, other than that, I don't smoke more, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. But I was at the gathering of the Juggalos one year, working for JCW, and weed was like running wild everywhere.
Yeah, they pay you pretty good, don't they?
There's a reason, what's his name, Necro Butcher has a marijuana leaf tattoo on him.
Uh-huh.
I'll just say that.
I always think I mean, he does crazy stuff, but the most painful thing about Necro Butcher matches is that he wrestles barefoot, and I don't know, out of all the things, that always makes me cringe the most when I see him, like, step in tacks, or, I don't know, there's just something about that really makes... I know that hurts if I step in a tag.
What's so weird about him is, like, when you talk to him, he's so articulate.
Yeah.
He seems like a really intelligent, down-to-earth, like, mellow guy. But, like, when he gets in the ring, he's like a savage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does the craziest shit I've ever seen anybody do, man.
I just found out, actually, the other day, I was talking on Facebook with someone, and Madman Pondo doesn't drink or smoke weed.
No, he doesn't. He's pretty straight edge. Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy too. Really smart guy. I mean, you talk to him and he can make a punchline out of any conversation.
Yeah, he's right. I met him. We were on the show a while back, and I met him at a horror movie convention last year, I think it was. Yeah, he's a very funny guy. Would you like to work with any of those guys? Is there any, or anybody out there that like you haven't worked with that you would like? I'd really like to have a match with this guy.
Yeah, I'd like to work with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people I'd like to work with. I'll probably never work, but that's just part of it, Mm-hmm. And I'd like to work all those guys. Everybody that ever worked in ECW or WCW or WWE, I'd like to work with all of them. But just the stars aren't aligned. You're not going to get your chance to work with them.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you ever have aspiration to go to the WWE or TNA?
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? Anybody that gets in the wrestling business, if they're not trying to go there, then what the hell are they doing? Why are they even in wrestling? If you're not trying... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I totally agree with what you're about to say.
I didn't get in this business because I get a boner going out to the ring trying to play wrestler. I mean, which sadly, that's the way it is with a lot of guys, but I got in the business because it was something I wanted to do for a living. Most people, they get in it just because they want to emulate what they see on TV.
Mm-hmm. You meet a lot of guys like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I've see it all the time. I mean, they're not going to make it. They know they're not going to make it, but they'll take somebody's job for $5 a hot dog and a Coke just to be a wrestler. So, man, to me, that's what's wrong with the business. That's why people can't make money. Because who wants to see the guy that looks like he was sleeping in a cardboard box wrestle? Man, who wants to see that? Nobody. You know what I mean?
Have you actually tried to get to TNA or WWE?
I mean, I sent my stuff in, but I wasn't ready at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, now I feel like I'm ready mentally, but physically, my body's so beat up. Like, I don't know if I can handle the schedule. But of course, if they offer me a contract, of course I'd take it. I would try and make the most out of it. But if I could put the knowledge I have in my head now into the body I had 10 years ago, definitely I would make it.
Mm-hmm.
I would easily be able to make it if I, ate right, dieted, and got my cardio up with the knowledge I have now. But 10 years ago, I was just some dumb young guy that playing wrestler for $5 a hot dog and a Coke, just like the guys I was just talking shit about. So.
Yeah. What do you think about guys like Chris Hero, who was he had a WWE contract, he was in the developmental deal, and they said he wouldn't ever go to the gym.
Well, man, that's part of your job. You get hired by WWE, you're gonna have to go to the gym, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's a Mick Foley or a CM Punk,
And even Mick, it's all relative too. I mean, even Mick Foley, if you read his book stuff, I mean, he did not that he was in the gym all the time, but he did, try the best with what he had to work with. I mean, he would stay in shape and.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're down there in developmental, you gotta understand there's 100 other guys trying to get that spot.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I don't know if I'd want to do it. I would do it. I would try, but it would be a little discouraging at this age. I'm 31 now, and I got arthritis in my body, and I'm not in as good a shape as those guys. It's a very, very discouraging thing for somebody like me to think about going down there, because there's a bunch of guys trying to get the spot, the main roster spot. You got to compete with all those guys to get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one guy I know that's going to make it is he used to wrestle as Sami Callihan, but now he works as Solomon Crow at NXT.
Yeah.
I actually helped him get in the business when he was a young guy and worked him in one of his first matches. And he was just some little fat kid that I never dreamed would make it as far as he did. Now, he's going to ask me for advice. Now I ask him for advice all the time. So.
Do you think that is encouraging? Though over the last few years, they have hired a lot of guys from the indie scene, like Sami Callihan, Cesaro, well, obviously Daniel Bryan, and I mean, there's a lot of guys. Moxley. Do you think that's encouraging for guys that are, on the independent scene? Like, if I do as well as I can here, I do actually have a chance of going to the WWE. Because there was a long time where, basically hardly anybody from the independent scene would get a chance. Well,
I mean, those guys they're not normal. They're way above and beyond, anybody on the independents. That's why they made it. That's why they got their shot, because they stand out. They're not just some wannabe wrestler trying to play wrestler on the weekend. They were actually trying to make it. Their goal was to make it, and they did all the right things to make it. So in their life, and now they are where they are.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever work with Moxley before you went to the WWE?
I never worked with him, but I met him. Mm-hmm. He seemed pretty cool when I met him.
Yeah. Yeah, we had him on the show.
But he was
when you talk about guys standing out, the first time I saw him was on Dragon Gate USA Bushido show, and I was there live, and he just, to me, stood out by far. You know.
Absolutely, that guy he's got a lot of charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his promos are great.
Oh yeah, it's a very unusual charisma. It's very unique.
What's that?
It's a very unusual charisma. He's a very unique guy.
Yeah, definitely.
What were you saying before that, sorry?
I was going to say, you know, like, not a lot of guys on the independents can cut a promo as good as he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think
fortunately for me,
do you think some guys don't even think of that part of wrestling? They're really worried just about, you know, doing a bunch of flips, and they don't really think about the promo side.
Well, yeah, they don't think about psychology. They don't think about cutting a promo. They don't think about actually selling what they're doing. You know, like, this is a business. If you can't get people to buy this shit, then what are you fucking doing even trying to do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, promos are what sells it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't convince somebody to come and buy a ticket, then get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel about it. I'm fortunate enough I've had a guy call me up and teach me what I was doing wrong and tell me how to cut a promo. And he's made some of the craziest promos I've ever seen. Everybody knows New Jack, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty much the guy that taught me how to cut promos.
Now, did he just happen to see your promos and just call you up and, like, how?
No, I sent him some promos on Facebook, and I asked him for advice, and he's like, well, I'm not really good at Facebook, so just give me your number and I'll call you. So I gave him my number, and he told me what to do, and I cut a couple more promos. I sent them to me, and he called me back and told me, okay, now you got it. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we've New Jack's been on the show like 3 or 4 times, and it's weird because I think some people just think he's just this crazy guy and stuff, but my experiences with him, he's actually he's a very good guy.
Yeah, he seemed really cool. I mean, you know, he didn't have to help me out. He didn't have to give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's already done almost everything he's gonna do in wrestling. So why, you know, that just goes to show he's true and he really cares about the business. That he'd help a younger guy out how to cut promo. That means he actually cares about the business.
Mm-hmm.
I really like guys like that. I got a lot of respect for guys like that.
Yeah. No, I know you don't want to give away like all the advice he gave you here, but did he see some of the stuff like did he like some of the stuff you did in your promos and just kind of tell you how to what not to do and how to what them?
Yeah, he was like, Jesus Christ, bro, you need to cut down all the cussing. He's like, what if it's a man was in his hotel room and he was browsing through some shit on YouTube and he's seen your promo, then you're gone. He's not going to consider you.
Yeah. That's very weird advice coming from him.
Yeah, I know, because that was the foundation of most of his shit. But he was telling me though, he said, I cuss in my promos, but I made my cussing count. I made it make sense. It just wasn't senseless profanity. You know, like, he used profanity as an emphasis for what he was trying to convey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I try to do now.
Yeah. I think no matter what you say about to me, he is one of the best promo guys ever. I love listening to New Jack.
Me too. And that's why I asked him for advice, because I enjoy his promos.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who's been really helpful was Diamond Dallas Page. I met him when I did the AWE Legends show in Virginia, and he took like an hour to pull me aside and tell me what I was doing wrong with my diet. And he introduced me to DDP yoga, and I lost 60 pounds doing it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure did.
He actually sent me DDP yoga too, which I probably should start doing. Wanted me to update the show.
It's good for you mentally and physically.
Yeah. My buddy,
it really is.
My buddy Cooter, he actually, I was up at his house the other day, and he dropped this thing in front of me, and he's like, I've been trying to do this, and I looked at it, and it was DDP yoga. I was like, my God, this thing is sweeping the nation.
I remember we had him. I think it was 2005. We had him on the show when he first started talking about that, and when it was YRG for regular guys, whatever. And I remember after the interview, like, oh God, that'll never make it. And then like almost 10 years later, it's just everywhere.
He's getting it out.
Dude, it works. It really does work, man. It does. It gave me an extra. Like, I thought I was gonna have to quit wrestling a couple of years ago. Like. Then I started doing that, and it gave me another couple of years. So, thinking about doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped doing it. I was doing it a lot, but when I moved to Hawaii, I got really busy because I was working a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to pay for all the things that I did in the ring. So I'm going to start doing it again and try to get in the best shape of my life ever.
Mm-hmm. I did think this was funny a couple minutes ago, and Intra here in West Virginia said, "My friend Cooter."
Well, that's his nickname, and that's what everybody knows him on the website by. But his real name's Mike. But.
Oh, no. That's kind of disappointing.
His real name is like Elijah.
Nah.
He's out.
I just want to say one thing, though.
Uh-huh.
You know that promo, the reason you guys thought I was interested in that, most psychotic promo ever in wrestling?
Yeah.
But I was just doing that for fun with some friends at the studio. The people on You Are Not Getting Booked posted that. They were talking all kind of smack about me, saying I'll never do this and do that, I'm a joke and all this and that. I just want to say something to those people. I just want to say three things. Fuck you, you're dead to me, and I hope your grandchildren are born with 3 motherfucking eyeballs.
Now, all kidding aside, though, is that, a site like that, when they take something like that and they, put up this, like, obviously it was you up there, you did it, but, what is the purpose of putting that up on a website? Do you think that does hurt someone, like, to get booked?
No, I just wanted to entertain my friends on Facebook.
Not a website like that, you won't get booked.com, whatever it is. Now, do you think a site like that actually does hurt people from getting booked?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Because a lot of the stuff they post is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at a lot of it, and I was actually offended that they included me with that. But since then, the guy that runs it, Tony Gibbons, he's kind of like apologetic about it. And he said he actually likes my work, so whatever. I think, for the people that really do suck, of course it's going to hurt them, but, me, I know I don't suck. I'm not saying I'm the best or whatever, but I know I don't suck. For Christ's sake, if I sucked, why would I be in Japan?
Right. The guy on our Facebook page who posted that, so you can go after him too if you want. But no, I'm just kidding. It's Mike Bessler, who works for PWI Magazine.
What now?
The guy who posted that video on our Facebook page is actually writes for PWI Magazine.
Oh, cool.
But,
well, ask him why the fuck he hasn't wrote anything about me in PWI Magazine.
we got
I'm just...
the PWI 500.
Yeah, I should be at least in the top 300.
I agree. He's written about In Your Head, so One Man Kru is going to get in there. We'll help.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
If he writes about me, that's great, but if not, whatever.
I actually do enjoy the video myself, but I knew it was obviously being over the top and goofy.
No, I never smacked the hoe in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
not yet.
I just said that just to be funny.
Well, sometimes they need smacking.
Well, I take that back. I did smack my son's mom once. She smacked me for... My current girlfriend, she's always talking about how I'm the worst guy she's ever been with. I'm like, I haven't even backhanded you yet. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding. But not really.
Right. It does make it all better when you add just kidding at the end.
Yeah. My catchphrase is, I'm just kidding, but not really.
Well, it's
No.
Go on.
That promo I did, I was just trying to be funny, trying to be entertaining. I personally was amused by it myself, so I posted it on Facebook to, for some of my friends to entertain them. And I actually offended one of my friends who has kids. Their kids watched it, and I was like, well, if it says the most psychotic promo ever in wrestling and warning profanity, I mean, don't you think you should have not watched it around your kids? I mean...
Yeah, I wouldn't put the blame on you on that.
Yeah, I'm having problems at home right now domestically because I like to wear headphones on my laptop, so I'm being accused of whacking off to porno and playing online games and all kind of weird shit that I never do. Which, yeah, I'm having problems with my girlfriend right now, but maybe I should
just
talk
because
about
you're wearing headphones?
Yeah, because I'm wearing headphones. Like, isn't that the craziest thing you ever heard in your life? Like,
yeah, I normally don't even wear headphones when I'm watching the porn. It's just like, God, who wants to...
She was asleep, and I was trying to be courteous. I was watching some clips from Raw, and I was wearing my headphones to be courteous and not wake her up. Like, evidently, it reminds her of her ex-husband who used to do all kind of shady shit on the computer. My girlfriend's ex-husband, he used to do all kind of weird shit on the computer, like, and put headphones on and try to be sneaky or whatever, so she's got this complex about headphones for some reason.
I would think the headphones, though, if you're trying to do some sneaky behavior, not that I'm saying from experience, but that would also block out hearing someone walking up on you. So I think
absolutely.
A double-edged sword there.
I don't hide any.
In the act.
I got advice for any guys out there who, if they have a girlfriend and they love her, never be honest about how many chicks you banged or anything of that kind of shit. Always lie about that. Never tell the truth about that. Because the moment you're honest about that kind of shit, then they just use it against you all the time. Then they think you're doing all kind of weird shit that you're not supposed to be all the time. When in fact that you're 100% dedicated to them, so they don't get that. So any young guys out there that falls in love with a woman, if you banged as many chicks as me, keep it to yourself.
Well, you can just tell her today you were talking to a couple of dudes on the internet, so it'd be totally cool.
She knows that, but I told her that. But for all she knows, I'm trying to talk, to a chick or something. I don't know. She's nuts. She's Korean, so she's already inherently evil.
Well, tell her that the 1-inch biceps is all man. I am not a woman.
She knows what I'm doing. It's just, she gets bad ideas sometimes about me. I don't know what the hell her problem is.
Did you meet her through wrestling?
No, I met her. I was out and about one day, and I met her. I just happened to meet her. But, sometimes shit doesn't last forever. I just got her name tattooed on me, so that's probably not a good idea.
Intra and I have matching tattoos.
And we can't stand one another now.
Or ever, to be honest. But.
Oh, you're going back that far. Back 9 years ago.
Hey, you know what? One thing is, I've done a lot of these podcasts. I've probably done like 10 or 20 of them, and nobody's ever asked me what I thought about Chris Benoit.
Really? Well, you know what? What do you think about Chris Benoit.
Do you want to know what I honestly think about Chris Benoit?
Sure,
I think the guy, I don't know. I mean, really, I try to look at it from all different angles, but I try to think of it like this, like, what did he really do? I mean, all he really did was, like, make a decision to no longer prolong the inevitable. He was going to die. His family was going to die. All he did was end their suffering. I mean, this world we live in is hell to me. I mean, it sucks. Riches, fame, success, all that don't mean a thing. When you die, you don't take none of that shit with you. So, you know, for all I know, he could have been on the road being completely faithful to his wife, turning down pussy left and right, and then when he went home, found out his wife's the lying, cheating, devil-worshipping bitch and strangled her to death. I mean, wouldn't you?
I've always said that if he would have killed Nancy, who knows what could happen there? Exactly what you just said could have been, men and women fight. It could have been heat of the moment. Who knows? But when you kill your little kid, to me, there's no defending that.
I know. That's the saddest part, the kid. But I don't know. Nobody really knows the circumstances behind any of that shit. What if she killed the kid? You know what I mean?
Well, they know the kid died after her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then obviously he killed him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a terrible thing. But I really don't see how people can always say what the media says or think what the media says is true, because who knows? What if somebody had some kind of fucked up agenda to make it look like he killed his family? You know what I mean? Like, if the guy really loved his family that much, why would he do that? There's no way I would do that to my son.
Well,
no way.
Anybody, lots of people kill their families and innocent people all the time, and if you'd always think, well, I wouldn't do that, so how could someone do that? Then no one would ever murder anybody.
Well, I talked to Buff Bagwell once, and he had the same doctor as Chris Benoit. He said, man, I'm actually, it's a mystery to me because I take the same steroids and the same pills he does, and that thought never occurred to me ever in my mind to do that to my family.
Well, that's how the media was trying to spin it, where it was like a steroid rage kind of thing, but it happened over the course of like 3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
I've taken steroids before, and I've never thought about murdering anybody.
No, I think the blaming on steroids or concussions, all that stuff to me is just nonsense. Really, I think just someone,
all steroids made me want to do was have sex.
What's that?
Maybe Chris Benoit couldn't get his wee-wee to work. I don't know.
That's right.
That would be frustrating.
Get on your knees for the crippler.
My mom always thought he looked like he was half retarded, and that she always disliked him. Even back in WCW days, she always said that he just had this look in his face that like he beat his wife. It was very weird, and I remember that, when everything happened.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, you never know. He could have been a psycho all along.
We've had guests on who said that, who knew him back in the day, and they said that, even there are even some of the books before it happened, and when I'd read them, and I was like, man, this guy just sounds weird. I think it was in the Foley book. That was before he all the stuff happened, and he said to punish himself, like if he thought he had a bad match or missed a spot, he would like go in the boiler room of like a building and do 500 Hindu squats.
Mm-hmm. That was Jericho's book.
Was it? Oh, it was Jericho. I don't think Foley said something similar to, but yeah, it was probably the Jericho book. But I just remember just reading that stuff, and I was thinking that doesn't seem like someone's right in the head.
Well, I mean, the Japanese wrestlers do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they make themselves do squats like that. I mean, if they have a shitty match, they're real hard on themselves. I mean, he might have adopted that from the Japanese style. You never know. I mean, with that whole thing, what really bothers me about it is the media says what they say, and then everybody just believes what the media says. They don't know what the fuck really happened. Nobody does. Nobody really does. That's the whole mystery behind it.
Well, I think it's pretty. I mean, obviously, no one knows exactly, why someone would do something unless you were inside their head. But I think it's pretty obvious that he did kill them. And, I wouldn't think there's any defense to.
I saw something really interesting on YouTube though, like somebody who didn't want to post it or whatever, was like creating all these excuses of why somebody else made it look like he did it. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you could go out there and find people who think, the moon landing was fake.
I'm actually one of those weirdos that thinks the moon landing was fake.
All right, then.
I think they shot that shit in the studio, man.
They said I watched a documentary that Room 237, which is about The Shining, and there are people who believe the whole movie The Shining is Stanley Kubrick admitting that 2001 was him faking that he faked the moon landing, and that 2001 was I don't know. It was this big, long, convoluted thing, but that Stanley.
Think about this, man. Why didn't they ever go back? Why didn't they establish a colony or something there?
They went back several times. I mean, there's been many missions to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But how long has it been since then? Like 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I actually read an article recently that they're like the flags at all the missions whenever they left them on the moon, that they've actually like bleached themselves white. Like you can't even see the American collars on it anymore.
I believe that from the sun. It's true.
And there's nothing to really shield it, so.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you ever been to, you remember, Blockbuster Video?
Mm-hmm.
The video came out, the sun would hit them, and they would...
Yeah, you'd want to buy, their rental games, but it's all bleached out because they left it in the sun too long.
Yeah, I have signed up for that.
This is not a pristine copy of Dead or Alive Beach Ball. I'm not buying this.
You just tell people that you got it from the moon.
No, that's true. That would be cool, too.
I get this off the moon.
We still need to do a show from the moon, Jack.
All right.
No, but on the subject of Chris Benoit, I think he's one of the most badass wrestlers that ever lived. But, what he did was fucked up. But, we all die. Everybody dies, and shit happens,
Yeah, I just have a hard time, he was a good wrestler and everything, but I just can't get into somebody when I know that he, murdered his little boy. I mean, it just seems wrong to me.
Yeah, it is wrong, but I still watch his work on YouTube. Because, he was good. He was really good at what he did.
I just wish all Chris Benoit fans could just be Dynamite Kid fans and just praise him instead. And maybe they could take Dynamite Kid's face and just put it on top of Chris Benoit on all the old WWE footage.
The Dynamite Kid's really big in Japan even to this day.
Yeah, I know.
They still have him on magazine covers, and they still do interviews with him, and he's really good.
He needs to move to Japan or something.
Sometimes he comes to Japan.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
If he could make a pretty good living there, I'd just move there. Because
he can't work.
Yeah, but you could have appearances and stuff.
But if there's one guy, to answer your question earlier, if I could work with anybody that I want to work with, I'd want to work with, on WWE, I'd like to work with who would I like to work with? Well, most of those guys don't even work on WWE anymore. I was going to say I'd like to work with Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker or somebody that
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could try to end the streak.
To do what?
You could try to end the streak.
Yeah, that's not going to happen with me. I guarantee you that. I probably, if I ever was on WWE, I'd probably be one of the jobbers on NXT. That's probably all I would ever do.
Well,
Like go in and put somebody over, and that's it.
Just don't lose to that Adam Cole guy, or whatever the hell that guy's name is. The guy that just dances out to the ring. Everybody loves him, but I thought that was terrible.
I watched that, but I saw people talking about it. I saw someone on the Facebook page. They said, "Why is there so many homosexual gimmicks on NXT?"
You're not going to do that, are you?
What?
For the first time ever in my life, I watched NXT like a week ago, or so. I think it's 2 weeks ago. And the one guy I like on there is Adrian Neville. He's really good.
He used to be Pac. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah,
I think he's good.
I really like him, and I like Sami Zayn a lot.
I like him too. Yeah, of course from his El Generico. Yeah, I like his work as El Generico.
Yeah, I've seen not too many times, maybe only once, but I saw Adrian Neville live. I think it was Dragon Gate USA. They brought him in. He's from England, but yeah, he's really good. And he just won the NXT title, so I assume they're probably he's short, but I don't think that matters too much anymore in WWE.
Now that whole Daniel Bryan thing is pretty much nipped that in the bud. And I think they booked that really cleverly, the WWE's. I think they know what they got with him, and they're really, really clever how they're pissing fans off to get that. I think they're going to give that climatic win. I think they're going to set him up for that climatic victory at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for 6 months they've been pissing fans off with him. I think they've been doing it on purpose to build it up. And I think if that's the case, then they're really clever and did a really good job with it, because now everybody is 100% behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because they're usually today when a babyface really gets over, there's always going to be part of the audience that hates him, just because it's like cool to dislike the guy that everyone likes. But he's a guy no one boos him. I mean, people are just going crazy for him, and you don't really see that reaction very often. It's exciting to see.
He's over, like super over. Like he's probably more over than anybody has been in years. He's like stone cold over. You know what I mean? Like Hulk Hogan over. Like he's that over.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they know what they got with him, and they're going to really push him.
And I mean, there's no better place to. If you win the title, in Raw or any other pay-per-view, it's it's cool and everything. But if you win it, in the main event of WrestleMania, it's a really big deal, and it'll be a great.
I think Triple H is going to put him over, and then I think they're going to put the strap on him in the main event. I think that's what's going to happen.
It was funny. I actually said that's what they should do last week on the show. I said that they should have him versus Triple H. Well, you knew the Triple H match was going to happen anyway, but I said they should make that for the basically exactly what is happening now. So it was a good idea, because he's already the underdog, and it just gets over more. He finally beats the guy's been holding down, and then does he have to beat one guy? Now he has to beat him to be in the title match, and then he's going to beat two more guys, and then he finally gets his moment after being held down and killed so long, and it's underdog plus he's the guy's winning through talent, and to me I think that is a great story, and it'll be a great moment if that's what happens, which I assume it will.
They did something like that with Chris Jericho, where he beats The Rock and Stone Cold in one night.
He was a heel at the time though, so it was a little different. I think it's a lot different beating two guys when you're the baby face.
Mhm. I mean, so my point with the Jericho thing was like they always said Jericho was too small.
Right.
To be the main event guy. But yet they put him over the two top guys in the business at the time, Stone Cold and The Rock. So I don't see why they wouldn't put him over Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista.
Yeah, I think anything else, it'll really leave WrestleMania like flat. And I mean, the idea is you want to make your people happy, watch the show.
Especially when you're pushing that network.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Triple H and Daniel Bryan's gonna have a good match, and they're gonna make it to where it makes sense, and where you know. And
since they announced that, it's made WrestleMania a lot more something to look forward to. Before that, wasn't. I mean, I've watched every WrestleMania anyway, but I'd be watching it. But none of the matches besides Undertaker Brock to me were really standing out. But now since it's probably going to be Daniel Bryan, going for the title, I think it makes WrestleMania a lot more.
It's picked up a lot.
What would piss me off though, as a fan of wrestling, like if Triple H loses by disqualification or something stupid like that. Daniel Bryan really has to go over strong and then tap him out or whatever, and then go to really make him the guy. Because sometimes they put the belt on someone, and either they win in a fluke or they never really get behind him, and that just never works. If you really want to get behind him, you have to get behind him 100%. I think maybe CM Punk left the business to leave that spot open for Daniel Bryan. Because if you think about it, who was the guy they were really pushing? CM Punk. Now he's gone, and who's left? The most over guy in the whole company. So push him, So I think it was, as shitty as it was, the circumstances, I think it might be good for business for right now for them to get behind Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean?
Usually all the, during the Attitude Era, I mean, they had to push new guys because all their other guys left. That's when Stone Cold got the chance, and Mick Foley, and all these, and people that might not have if, Paul and Nash and all these guys had stayed. And usually I think that's a point in wrestling when things really start to turn around, is when they're forced to find the next big stars. And it's always exciting too.
I agree with that. It kind of forces them, it puts them in a position where they got to sell somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they get the best TV out of that, Mm-hmm. So, that might be a good thing for right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not crazy over a lot of the storylines in WWE, when we're watching Raw each week, but they do have a lot of really talented younger guys, like Cesaro and Shield, and not that Goldust is a young guy, but I think he's probably in the best shape I've ever seen him in. He's awesome. I always liked him anyway, but he's been the man lately. There's a lot of really good guys on the show.
Oh yeah. But the question is do they sell as many T-shirts as Daniel Bryan? Are they as over? And if you can get yourself that over and you can sell, it's business, And you make money for the company. That's they're going to push you, That's just how the business is.
They say he doesn't sell a lot of shirts, but I think it's because a lot of his shirts aren't very nice. But the new ones I do think are a big improvement over the ones that just said yes, 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 or those weird beard shirts.
Yeah, the new ones look pretty good. Mm-hmm. And they'll probably sell a lot of those.
Yeah,
that's probably why they even made the new ones, because they knew they would sell a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're smart. They know what they're doing. They're going to push him right at the right moment to sell all those shirts. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
Someone in the chat room earlier, they wanted to know, do you prefer the big blue cage or the traditional mesh cage?
Well, I never worked a cage match, but if I wanted to work a cage match, I would want to work in the one with the big blue because it'd be easier to climb.
It's like a ladder.
That's right. That's because the big blue cage is awesome.
Well, I think he's given a little different reason. Not necessarily that it's awesome, but it's like a ladder where guys can climb out. I mean, that's why, they'd have it for Hogan and...
If I'm not mistaken, they invented that for a cage match between King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan, two big-ass guys with big-ass feet. So, I think that's why they made that to begin with.
So they could climb it like a ladder.
They can't really climb the cage if it's mesh. Man.
Mesh cage.
I know I'd have a hard time. And my feet aren't even that, well, I guess they're kind of big. I got hobbit feet. They're like fat and wide, but they're short.
Uh-huh. Are they hairy like a hobbit's?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh. Maybe that's what your girlfriend has a problem with.
Yeah, that might be one reason. Among the lists of 1,000 other things.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun to talk to you.
Hey, you guys too, man. Thanks a lot. I enjoyed doing these podcasts, man. Thanks a lot. Cool. Really.
And we wish you continued success.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Cool. I hope you guys are more successful too.
Well, thank you.
Yo, this is New Jack, the original gangster, and right now you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Believe it. If you don't, I'll stab your ass.